As I hope you already know, I recently launched my own company here in Taiwan called the TheTaiwanShop.tw, and I'm actually on my way to deliver my latest order right now. And in the meantime, in this video, I wanted to share my top 10 reasons for why I think that you should start your next company in Taiwan. Reason number one might only apply to foreigners here in Taiwan, but this is arguably the most important reason for foreigners here in Taiwan, and that is the overall visa and even gold card programs and different structures now. 14 years ago, when I first arrived to Taiwan, it would have been absolutely impossible for me to just start my own company. Now, full disclosure, when it comes to setting up a personal business, there are still some differences between being a foreigner and being a Taiwanese citizen. But if you do actually start up an official company on paper, then it's very easy to do so in Taiwan, since we even have an entrepreneurship visa, and you can also get a gold card, which basically more or less gives you, I think, pretty much any freedom you could possibly want when it comes to coming here to Taiwan as a solo entrepreneur, starting up your own company. And in addition to these actual visas, there's also so many other kinds of organizations and also just resources in general. For example, Talent Taiwan, which I previously talked about here on the channel, which basically can take care of every single need you might have as a new foreigner coming here, starting up your own business here in Taiwan. Reason number two, and something that is very much relevant for both foreigners and Taiwanese people, and that is the overall shipping and delivery network we have here in Taiwan. More specifically, when it comes to ordering your own supplies that you will most likely need in order to actually create and to sell your own product. And in Taiwan, you can get a majority of all possible products delivered to your doorstep within 24 hours, and most of the time shipping is also completely free as long as you just order over like a few hundred Taiwanese dollars. For comparison purposes, if we would compare this with Sweden, then you just have to expect 2 to 5 business days delivery, and you also have to pay at least 200 to 300 Taiwanese dollars in shipping, regardless of how much you order, unless you order like 1,000 quantity of some specific customized super expensive order. But in general, you just have to assume that everything in Sweden just takes longer time and it costs more when it comes to getting something delivered to you. But it's not only about the speed, because here in Taiwan we also have tons of different super specialized stores. So for example, if I do make a brand new product for my TheTaiwanShop.tw, in this case it's a banana-shaped dish soap shelf, which you can put your soap on, and then you have this water here that you can just pour down in the sink in order to have a very nice little spot for your soap in your home. All I have to do is to just go online or visit one of the many specialized physical stores as well. Literally within like 1 hour, I can find the perfect box in smaller quantities just to like try the market a little bit. Whereas if I am in Sweden, maybe I could still find these box measurements online, but it would require me to either pay a lot more per box and also for the shipping, or just ending up ordering like 1,000 units before I even know if you will be interested in getting this Taiwan banana dish soap shelf. And if we flip it around and it's time for us to actually send out our own orders, for example, this Taiwan LV keychain, all we have to do is just go to one of the convenience stores, for example 7-Eleven or Family Mart here in Taiwan, which at least I still do on a daily basis, and then just bring the order to 7-Eleven, and then the clerk will just scan the package, and then somehow my order will just show up at my customer's 7-Eleven in a day or two. So now there's only a few more details missing, which is basically everything in between. For example, how does customers find our website? How can they place orders on our website? And how do we print out these shipping labels so we can take advantage of this amazingly convenient network we have here in Taiwan? Well, all these missing steps and pieces can all be answered with only one single word, which is also the sponsor of today's video, SHOPLINE. Now, if you're only even considering starting your own business here in Taiwan, you definitely need to check out SHOPLINE. Now, it is true that SHOPLINE is the sponsor of today's video, but that is only after I was the one reaching out to them, asking if they wanted to work with me for my new web shop here in Taiwan. And at that time, I already had my already existing web shop up and running already, but there were so many issues. Although everything was already set up, there were so many issues with my previous setup that I just had to switch and go through through the entire starting up process one more time. And I can honestly say that was the best business decision I've ever done in my business career. Now, for you as a customer, you may not really see that many big differences between my previous website and my current website, but for me, being the one who processes all the orders and who just keeps updating the website every single day, it is a night and day difference. And that is mainly for two reasons. And that is that SHOPLINE, first of all, is just made for the Taiwan market, which means that both 7-Eleven and Family Mart shipping and all the other delivery platforms and everything else you could possibly need when it comes to e-commerce here in Taiwan is directly integrated with SHOPLINE, with the keyword being directly integrated. You can do literally anything you could possibly want, including 7-Eleven and Family Mart cash on delivery deliveries, which is something brand new on my own web shop and something that I know a lot of people have been asking about, which I now have with SHOPLINE with just one single click. And this entire shipping process is also super easy as well. The only thing I need to do when I do receive an order from you is to just click on print labels, and then my printing label machines will just print out the label that I just stick onto the packaging, and then I just go to 7-Eleven or Family Mart, hand them over my package, they scan the package, and then 7-Eleven and Family Mart just deals with the rest with SHOPLINE somehow. I don't even know, and I don't need to know with SHOPLINE. And then just 1 or 2 days later, the customer, you, will then just receive it at your 7-Eleven or Family Mart. And the second reason for why I absolutely love having a SHOPLINE store is the overall social media integration as well. Maybe if you do follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you might have already seen this little shop icon, and that means that you can actually access my The Taiwan Shop straight from Instagram or Facebook. You can just click there, and then you have all the information about the products already without even having to visit my web shop. But maybe the biggest benefit of having a SHOPLINE web store, at least for me as a full-time YouTuber here in Taiwan, that is that SHOPLINE of course also integrates with YouTube as well. So if you do just scroll down here, you can actually see all my products straight here on YouTube as well. And that is again something that is possible thanks to SHOPLINE's integration with YouTube in this case. And just like my SHOPLINE website is available in both English and Chinese, the next reason for why I think that you should start your own business in Taiwan is the countless amounts of both English and Mandarin speaking services. And we have everything from marketers, lawyers, and everything else you might need in the business. I don't know. I'm doing everything myself, so I don't really know what kind of services you might want an agency to take care of. But I can guarantee you here in Taiwan, even though you don't speak a single word of Mandarin, you can still find countless of different agencies and companies that can help you with English-speaking services. Now, full disclosure, you might have to pay a little bit of an English premium and a little bit higher price when it comes to English-speaking services compared to Mandarin-only services here in Taiwan. But if you would be comparing this with the similar services in, for example, Stockholm, London, or New York, or wherever you want your business headquarters, I can guarantee you that everything is so much more affordable here in Taiwan. But where do you find all these English-speaking services? Well, that is the next reason for why you should start your next company here in Taiwan, and that is all the countless of different network groups and events organizations. And I want to make it very clear that although all of these organizations are for English speakers, they're not limited to only foreigners. So if you are a Taiwanese entrepreneur and you do want to either just join an entrepreneurial group in general, feel free to join every single one of these groups I'm going to mention right now, or if you just want to maybe get a little bit more contact with foreign entrepreneurs or just English-speaking entrepreneurs in general, then all these groups are amazing for you. For example, we have the TIE, which is the Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs, which is mainly a Facebook group filled with experienced entrepreneurs who can answer every single question you might have about starting or operating a business here in Taiwan. Then we also have the Digital Nomad Meetups, which is a little bit more focused on digital nomads instead of entrepreneurs, but they have tons of different meetups, and it's a great place to not only find other digital nomads or like solo entrepreneurs in a similar situation as yourself, it is also just a very nice group of people who all like to hang out and all being digital solo entrepreneur nomads together. if that makes sense. And then maybe one step further, when you have taken that final step from your startup phase to having an actual business here in Taiwan, we also have tons of different chamber of commerce that are very, very active here in Taiwan. For example, Sweden have their own chamber of commerce, France have their own chamber of commerce, Canada has their own chamber of commerce, but every single one are arranging like meetups and networking events that every single one is welcome to join. I think, at least. There hasn't been a single problem for me to join them, at least. So please go and check them on, I think, mostly Facebook. You will have all the possible information there. So even if you are a foreigner or an outsider here in Taiwan, you will never feel like you're left outside. So if you are into that overall entrepreneurial and startup community, then Taiwan, and I would say Taipei specifically, is a perfect fit for you. And of course, we also need to talk at least a little bit about money as well. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details simply because I don't know all the details, but just as an example from the Taiwan shop, that is, if I would start my own company in, for example, Stockholm or in any other Western capital, it would be so much more insanely expensive compared to starting my own company here in the middle of Taipei. Like, I have 5 minutes walk to the MRT station, and then within 1 hour, I can literally be anywhere that I want. But then later on as well, if you do start to grow and if you do want to maybe hire your first, second, maybe like a small team of actual colleagues, then Taiwan also have some absolutely great, and by great I mean very, very low, extra like employer payroll taxes. I don't know if that's the exact term or not. And just like we're spoiled with fast and cheap deliveries for our orders, it is also super easy to travel anywhere you want here in Taiwan. For example, if you do have a morning meeting down in Kaohsiung, just jump on the HSR and you can literally be back up here in Taipei for lunch and like just next lunch meeting here in Taipei. And if you are in those early stages of launching your company, it is also super easy to just launch a pop-up store just to like test the market and joining maybe a day market or getting a booth in a night market. And another benefit is that here in Taiwan, or at least here in Taipei, there's just so many people everywhere. So for example, without you doing any marketing at all, if you would go to Hwaseong Creative Park, set up a booth there when there is like a market going on, there will be so many people who are already there and then who would just accidentally see your products. And if you do have some hopefully good products, for example, like a Taiwan bear, then they would just see this and by accident just purchase hopefully one or many of your products. Now, with that said, I haven't thought about joining these physical markets myself because I just don't have the time right now because there's just so many things to do with my web shop and SHOPLINE. But if that is something that you want to see, please do let me know by leaving a comment down below and I will try and see if I can maybe attend a day market. I don't even know how this works. So if anyone has any connection anywhere and would know how I even sign up and who do I email, whose line should I add in order to get these contacts? The next reason for why you should start your own company here in Taiwan is that in general, I personally feel like Taiwanese people are more open to trying new things. Not only when it comes to like food, but when it comes to like a new product, like any kind of like pop-up store that I see, they all seem super popular. And I think the biggest reason is that people are just more supportive here in Taiwan. And if they do see a single entrepreneur or like anyone like in a night market, a day market, or these like street performers, if they see like how hard working someone is, they do want to support that person. I don't know if that applies to every single industry, but I 100% would say that this is a benefit that you will have here in Taiwan that you definitely would not have if you would try to do the same thing in Sweden. Now, last but not least, that is when hopefully your company will take off and maybe grow outside of Taiwan. As we all know, Taiwan is the heart of Asia, and that is both emotionally but also geographically as well. So when your company do take off and you want to expand your business empire from Taiwan to other countries as well, it is super convenient to travel pretty much anywhere in Asia, and you also have direct flights to both countless of American and European cities as well. So regardless of where you are going in the world, regardless of where your customers are, it is super convenient to having Taiwan as your international hub as your overall business empire grows. especially if you are making a store that is called The Taiwan Shop. I think it definitely makes sense to have your global headquarters here in Taiwan. I don't know if I missed anything. If I did, please do let me know by leaving a comment down below. And again, on the way down to the comment section, you do have this little row with all my products from the Taiwan shop. And as a special thank you for watching this entire video, if you do use the coupon code SHOPLINE, you will get 10% off anything you order from my entire store for the next 1 month from this video release date. So regardless if you are ordering my Taiwan bear, or if you're ordering some Taiwan or some Lambaito keychains, or maybe a brand new banana soap holder shelf, you get 10% off anything you order from TheTaiwanShop.tw. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.